peace, Lord, my joy, Alpha and Omega, my hope, strength, Jehovah, fortress, lion, you are, I am that I am, all that I need, Jesus, Jesus, you are, I am that I am, all that I need, Jesus, Jesus.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are finally back.
Yeah, so good morning on this wonderful Saturday morning, and it's been a little minute, but yeah,
Well,
we're
it's
officially
actually
back.
Saturday afternoon.
What did I say?
Well, you said Saturday morning, but maybe it is Saturday morning for people on the West Coast.
Okay, all right.
So
Small minor
technically,
details.
technically, you were correct.
Small minor details.
That's right.
Afternoon with late tea time with Charlie and Sharon. Cheers.
I am. Yep. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do our
Toast,
little toast. I am so happy to be back. You know, I was just waiting for her to. She. Of course, she had the knee replacement surgery, and it went well. But wow, it's been an adventure, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's been pretty rough. I know when I first went to the doctor and you get your pre-op and your teaching and they tell you everything you're going to go through and hey, it's going to, you're in and out. It's going to be a day surgery and they'll numb up your leg and you'll be very comfortable for, a few days, which I was. I'll give you a big old ice pack and you put that on there and they'll give you some really good medications, which they did for 1 week. And then we'll give you some other medications, not so strong, the second week. And by then, Advil, Tylenol will do great. Well, that's a lie. That is not true. This has been something that has been so painful for me. And yesterday wasn't a good day for me. I just, because I went to the doctor and he was stretching out my knee and stuff and telling me I had to do certain things to keep my knee straight so I don't have a permanent limp in that leg. So anyway, I'm here to just say knee surgery is painful. They said I need the other one done, but it will be a very cold day and you know where before I get the other knee done. Okay?
Yeah, I'm actually believing that it shall not happen. But actually, guys, she's really been a trooper. Yes, she's been in extreme pain, but every time she go for a checkup and they evaluate, where she's at, they keep saying that she's ahead of the curve. So she's actually doing very well. And, we wanted to attribute that to you guys, those of you that have been praying.
Yes.
Your prayers avail much, very much, and
Thank you.
it's really been a blessing to us. So I'm so happy that we're back, man. We have so much that we want to get into. So we want to keep these broadcasts about 30, no more than 45 minutes long, top. But there's so much in this lady's spirit, and I have some things in my spirit. And it's just we don't know where to start. But first and foremost, I guess we can start with Merry Christmas. You like our background? I like that background. You like it, right?
Yeah, I do. Well, since you mentioned that, Merry Christmas, I told Charlie, it was about 2 weeks ago, I think. I said, something's trying to come and steal my joy because I couldn't get into the Christmas. And if anybody out there know me, I love decorating. We have little trees for each of our grandbabies. So we have a new grandbaby this year. That's his first Christmas, got a tree for him. And so I just couldn't get into it. And one day I said, you know what? I was in so much pain, but I said, I'm going to defy this pain. And when I started pulling out those trees, I said, Charlie, let's get this up. And and so it just did something for me and him because the enemy was trying to steal our joy. And that's not going to happen. So, yeah, a little bit of Merry Christmas for us and for you too.
Yeah, so. And it really is because some of the things that we're going to talk about, and like I said, we have so much that we have on our hearts. I really want you to share with everyone the experience you had, how you had this encounter with God. But before we go there, I want to talk about our grandson. we are always talking about our grandkids. We love our grandkids. I mean, every Sunday there's just noise in this house because we.
Every Sunday?
Well, I'm talking about every day.
Every day.
But on Sunday we have them all.
Yeah, we do.
And
We
it's just but it's fun.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. And but our firstborn grandson Isaiah, he received a very powerful prophetic word. First and foremost, if I can make this quick, you see, when before Isaiah was born, Ashley was attacked in her body. She was attacked in her ovaries, and it was said by the prognosticators, and they can't help themselves. This is doctors; they're doing their job. They see what they see, and they said, "This is what we think. This is what you are facing," and they had to remove pretty much both of her ovaries. They only left like a sickle shape of the ovaries. And the doctor said, well, she probably won't have any kids, but I did my best to save the ovaries. What was so beautiful about this is that the night before that surgery, she received a prophetic word from the Lord, from and through Prophet Kim, when God said this, he said, your daughter will be fine. She will be okay. As a matter of fact, she will have sons. That was what the Lord said.
Yep. Yep.
And sure enough, the doctor said this won't happen, but she did have sons. And in that prophetic word, God says, and the firstborn will connect with you, Charlie, in a very powerful way, in a very unique way, which is Isaiah. And then when we dedicated him to the Lord spoke a word to him saying and decreeing how he will be a ray of light in times of such darkness, that he will be a prophet. He will be a powerful prophet, and he would do great things for the kingdom of God. Well, we have seen many times where this young boy have been so prophetic, just like Christmas.
Yeah.
You see, I'm excited about Christmas this year. I know that everything is ugly. I know that, everything is out of order. But you see, he woke up on July 25th, like I woke up on this July 25th of this year, with Christmas on our minds and within our hearts. I had decided to do a video and just talk about Christmas in July and to release the word about how Christmas is going to be a very beautiful Christmas. Unbeknownst to us, Isaiah woke up with Christmas on his heart and in his mind. So what he and Jade did was that they went and grabbed Christmas wrappings and they wrapped up different things, and he wanted to give a gift to me, to Sharon, to his mother, and to his little brother. And that's what they did. And at supper time, after we finished, he came out with these gifts, and it blew my mind. And that's when God
Wrapped
shared
in
with
Christmas
me.
paper.
Yeah, wrapped in Christmas paper. And then I said to him, I said, what made you do this? He said, I just woke up this morning and I just wanted to have Christmas. That was a sign, and that's when God spoke to me. My word is a sure word. Mm-hmm. Christmas is going to be a great Christmas, and God is going to begin to use these children. He is going to begin to use these children, your grandchildren, in very supernatural ways. So I want you guys to really hear what we're saying today. Pay attention and be attentive to your children. Speak to your children. Speak to them about God. Don't be religious. Just speak to them about God. It's like when Josiah came to me, he said, Papa, is Jesus God and God is Jesus? I said, yes. And he said, how can that be? I said, because he's God. Like that. He said, oh, okay. And that was enough for him. You see? And so Isaiah had an experience. And it was last week. It was on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I'm not real sure. It was I think it was a Wednesday, wasn't it?
I know it was the day before that little girl was kidnapped.
It was several
here.
days before. Yeah.
Kidnapped by the
Delivery
FedEx person with a delivery. But this is very interesting what these little ones came and told us. Mm-hmm. And I'll go ahead and let you tell them what he dreamed about and how we know he was hearing from God.
He without a doubt. You see, he woke us up at 6:30 that morning because he was getting ready to go to school. He came downstairs and he came to my bedside. And that's a fulfilled prophecy because God said that your children would come to you at night, during the day, at night. and they would ask questions. And that's exactly what he did. He came to me. He said, Papa, I had a bad dream. And I said, okay, son, what was it? And he told me, he said, this grocery person, this lady was delivering groceries. Now, we receive groceries via delivery because she uses, especially since she's been injured, we use Costco and we order and then they deliver the groceries. So he said this lady was delivering the groceries. And as this lady was getting ready to deliver the groceries, another person showed up that had white, scraggly hair that looked evil. And the regular lady all of a sudden disappeared, and this evil person came toward Isaiah. So he shut the door, but the evil person stuck its foot in between the door and the wall, I guess. To be able to shut, the entranceway, and kept him from shutting the door. And then that person grabbed Isaiah and took him away, and he woke up. And I said, wow, and at first, I said, well, that won't happen. But a day or two later, a FedEx delivery driver came to the door where this little girl was staying. And instead of dropping off the package, he kidnapped this little girl. And it's kind of hard for me to talk about this because, what if the family is listening to this? Yeah. But I have to say this. I have to say this, is that Isaiah sensed and saw this because God says he will see things. He will prophesy. And what Isaiah saw was this atrocity. And so I'm going to talk to Isaiah. It reminds me of when young Samuel, he heard God, but he thought it was Eli.
Yeah. Well, I think that's significant, and I do see the correlation with Isaiah and this little girl, because for some reason that same day when I saw that, because I'm always, on Facebook and putting our kids up and saying things, and that's a whole nother story. I'm going to tell you a little bit what God spoke to me about that. But I immediately felt something for this child, and I immediately shared it because she was missing just like hours before. So I immediately shared that. And you see things on Facebook all the time, and I don't always share things like that, and but this particular time God had me share it, and I did share it. So there was already a connection there within the household. So him having that dream, it's like we're all kind of getting bits and pieces of it, and then you put it all together, which was amazing. So and I know if one of the family members listening, trust me, I was praying when I saw that.
Yeah.
From the time I saw her, I was praying. I know that my husband was praying for that baby to come back because, it's somebody's child, it's somebody's grandkid, and you all know how we feel about our grandchildren.
Right.
So,
and something else, the little girl, they live in this area. They live in the Metroplex area.
Yeah. So
it was so precise, guys. Look, God is coming up on our kids. The enemy knows that there's a deliverer that is coming forth through this generation. This generation is going to be detrimental to the kingdom of darkness.
So funny, you're saying everything I wrote down.
Okay, well, let me shut up because I want you to get, hey guys, I want you to hear.
I'm telling you, it's just that we're so in tune with each other. I wrote this down about the kids, and we need to support them and nurture them, and they're the future warriors. And so it's so, you didn't see this. So,
no, I didn't.
He always tells me, well, we're going to talk about it. And I always I don't want to really say what I'm going to talk about because I don't know what I'm going to talk about, because God always leads me in a different area, but I just jotted down some things I definitely wanted to talk about. And it's so amazing how you just kind of said everything that I had written down here, which is amazing. Yeah. And one other thing, while we're on that subject, I also had a vision because I've been dealing with this pain, and doctors, you should be fine, and take your Advil. Well, Advil has an adverse effect on me. It causes me to be very anemic. So, and they don't listen. Doctors don't listen. I'm sorry. You don't listen to people. Like, nurses listen, but doctors don't listen. They're in and out. And basically that's how I felt. So I said, I'm going to do this on my own. So God had me start drawing again and just sketching. And when I did that, it allowed me to divert my pain into something that I like to do. And I've been drawing and painting and doing that like for weeks now. So there's, in the midst of that, to get back to my story, because I got off of that a little bit, I was laying down and I was listening to some piano music, because I always used to love how Kim played that piano and Charlie plays the piano. And I was just listening to the piano music, and I was just going to sit there and be quiet and pray this pain away. And so I kind of went into like it felt like I went to sleep, but I was still aware of my surroundings.
Right.
You know, because I don't think you were at home at the time.
No,
I was still around.
I was actually in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, aware of my surroundings. And all of a sudden, I saw all this destruction and fire and war and people being killed and all this horrible things. I saw that. And then I woke up, you know, came back to consciousness, I guess, if you want to say that. And I said, what was that? And then immediately, I couldn't even get up. I immediately went right back into it and saw the same thing over and over and over again. And I told Charlie about this, and I told Charlie, I said, you know, this thing that's going to happen, we can't stop it. It's going to happen. It's part of his plan. What we have to do is be ready for that when it comes. We have to make sure our children are ready for that. We have to put on our shields so we are ready for this thing. Right. No one, or Democrats, Republicans, whatever you want to call yourself, this is not about you. This is a spirit that's coming, and it's horrible, and it doesn't care what side you're on. It doesn't.
Amen. Go ahead.
It doesn't care what side you're on. It's coming to kill and destroy, to kill our babies and kill us. And I'm telling you, I said this to Charlie yesterday, you better stop straddling that fence. And I put it on Facebook yesterday, because there's a fence right there. And if you get in between that fence and you cannot hear God's voice, you may fall on the other side. So it's no time right now to continue straddling the fence. Oh, well, it's okay. Well, I agree with this. And, well, no, I don't agree with it. You cannot do that now. You cannot do that. You have to stay focused. And God at this time is having me to be quiet. And I didn't tell Charlie about this, but God spoke to me today. And, you know, I'm always on Facebook and stuff. Can you fix my chair, babe? This is sliding, sorry. God spoke to me this morning, and he said he wanted me to be silent because he wants to talk and tell me more things. And if I clutter my mind with things of the world and things that's going on, I can't hear him clearly. So he's having me pull back. I'm going to shut my Facebook down for a while and just get into the word and listen to what God is telling me, because he is talking to me right now. He's talking to this family. He's talking to our babies. So that's what I'm going to do, or that's what God's having me to do, so that I can be ready for this next.
Well, he's showing you so much.
Yes.
He's showing you so much. I like the way you explained it to me when this first happened, because she called me. I was in Pennsylvania. I was boots on the ground. I was at a conference there in Pennsylvania. And she called me early that particular morning, and she said, "Charlie, I had this encounter. It was like it was a vision, and things was just going so fast. It kind of reminds you of, this is how you described it, those old newsreels of when people used to go. This was before our generation. They would go to the movie houses, and how they would hear about news that was going on around the world. They would have newsreels. Okay, before the movie would start. And these newsreels would just run real fast because, see, you know, people say, oh, come on, let's get this out of the way because we want to see the movie. Yeah. And that's how you described it. And then you were led to do something. What was that?
Tell you, I don't know. I can't remember now, babe.
Okay.
No, I do know. I'm going to let him show you.
Check this out, guys. Check this out. What happened was she was having this, and then she was led to draw this painting. Now, this was something that she started doing when this thing first started attacking her, and then she had to go down. This drawing and stuff like this is very therapeutic for her. But then God began to use it. And explain this to
Well, I
everyone.
actually saw this, the picture of this, and it was a very little tiny drawing and very little tiny wings. But when I started to sketch this, it had me make the angel very, very small and the wings very, very large. And what I told Charlie was, even the angels will be crying and mourning for what's going to happen, because the only thing that's going to fix this is God. It's not us. It's not the angels. It's God that's going to fix this. And he has to do this because he has to show everyone who the real God is. It's not Buddha. Okay?
It's not your religious
It's
God.
not your religious person God.
Yeah.
He is the one true God. And no man, no prophet, no one can claim this. Only God's going to do this. And so that's why I drew that picture, and I drew the wings extra large, because it doesn't matter how large the wings are and how great somebody is, because you're not that great compared to what God is and what God can do for us and what he's going to do.
Right.
Everyone in this entire world will be able to hear that God is God. And it's going to be left up to them whether or not they receive that. But I'm telling you, we are in the midst of that. With all of this electronics and Facebook and all that, we're able to reach more and more people. So once that is reached, pretty much all hell's going to break loose.
Well, I'm telling you.
It's going to break loose.
And of course, we're not praying for that, but
No.
I think what needs to happen, what God has been speaking to me, I've been studying the Tower of Babel and what that was all about, and what I discovered by reading the writings of Josephus, the Jewish historian. You see, something very catastrophic happened during the Tower of Babel event. It just wasn't the confusion of the languages. Something got their attention. Something shook the whole earth, shook them to the very core of their beings. And then God came down and confused their languages. Imagine a shaking. Let's put it this way, because I was looking at this movie, and the name of this movie is called Greenland. And it's a catastrophic movie. It's about a comet that's going to crash unto the earth, and it's a what they called an extinction event that shall take place. Okay, now of course the world and the secular believe that meteors are going to, they believe that a big meteor struck the earth and changed the whole course of the earth at the beginning. Quite frankly, I would say that they're partially right. It wasn't a meteor. It was Satan getting his ass kicked out of heaven. And he came crashing down the earth.
I saw Satan.
Yeah, that's right, because it's in the book of Ezekiel.
Yeah.
If you read Ezekiel, Satan or Lucifer came crashing to the earth. Because, see, the earth was at that time without form. Guys, read Genesis. Read the very first verse in chapter 1 of Genesis. It says it very beautiful. Now, I'm going off script.
It's okay.
Not that we have a script, but I don't have the scripture in front of me. But it says that in the beginning, the earth was formed. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters of the earth, and it was formless. Or in other words, it was somewhat chaotic, but it was here. The earth was here. Now, let's ask the question. Since evolutionists always want to say that it took billions and billions of years, chapter 1 says that happened. That was in the beginning. Well, chapter 1, verse 1. And then verse 2 is when the 24-hour time clock started. So, verse 1, we don't know how long the earth was without form. It could have been millions of years. We don't know. We don't know. But the one thing that we do know is this. Lucifer came crashing down. Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I'm like, what is going to get the attention of the people? Because something got the attention of Nimrod and the rest of those Nimrods that was trying to be God, that was trying to say, no, God, we don't need you. We're gonna build a tower, and we're gonna build it all the way up. The writings of Josephus says the reason why they did this, Nimrod and these people were upset with God because of the flood, because of everything that happened. And they said, well, we're gonna build a tower, and the next time if God wants to bring a flood, we'll get up on top of this tower, and it will not be able to take us out. Now think about this. Now let's just think about how big this tower had to be. It was huge. People say, oh man, that's a fable. No, it's not, because see, those people back then, they used more of their brain capacity than what we use. These people were very, 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 and I'm going to say it again, very smart. They were very smart. They just didn't have the technology, but they had complete usage of their brain. Okay? So these people were very interesting. But imagine something catastrophic happening, shaking you to the very core of your being, and then you finally get together with your family. I come with Sharon. I find Ashley. I find Josiah, Isaiah, Jade, and I ask them the question, how are you doing? And they can't understand me. They try to speak back to me. I can't understand them. We're sitting there trying to communicate, and we can't communicate because we can't understand each other. All hell just broke loose. And here you, why are you talking like this? What's going on? So imagine that. I just feel that something needs to happen that will get the attention of all of us, so that we can focus and turn our attention back to God, just like 9/11. Because when 9/11 happened, everyone, and I'm gonna tell you, man, we go to Covenant Church, and it seats about 3,500 strong, okay, per meeting. Every meeting, they had 3 services on Sunday mornings. Every one of them was filled to capacity. Even the overflow was filled up because people were shaken.
Yeah.
People were shaken. See, we want a move of God. We want a move of God, because what needs to happen is that the world need to really know exactly what she was saying, that you cannot straddle. You can't be in the middle. You're either going to be on the side of righteousness, or you're going to be on the side of unrighteousness. Either you're going to be on the side of good or evil. There's no middle ground. The Bible speaks about it. Jesus says that I don't want a lukewarm person. I'd rather you be hot or cold. I'd rather you be that way, because if you're trying to straddle the fence, you're double-minded and you're trying to play me. Jesus is basically saying, you can't play me. I'm the creator. I'm the ultimate player. I know everything. You can't play me. You either going to have to make up your mind what you want to do. If you're not, I will spew you out of my mouth. This is where we are.
Oh, let me say something to you. Just made me remember something that I wanted to say. And like I said, God spoke to me this morning, gave me instructions what I'm to do. So, you can pray and God will give you instructions what it is for you to do. But that's what He's instructed me to do. But being able to hear His voice is very important and very, very pivotal for this time. And I was trying to think of something like, how could I just explain that where a lot of people can understand what I'm trying to say. Think of parents, and they get a divorce, and the father hasn't been in the kid's life for a long period of time. Maybe they got divorced 2 years old, and there's a new father in the home, and that child is familiar with mom's voice and the new father's voice. But the real father is away, and that child doesn't recognize that voice because they're not familiar with that voice. And I see that's how we are. We need to get into His word and pray so we can be familiar with that voice and hear it right away and do what God tells you to do. If you're not, or don't have that relationship, you're not going to be able to hear Him when He tells you, turn right, don't go left.
Wow.
you're not going to be able to hear that.
Right.
Or stop the car because something's about to run in front of you. You won't be able to hear that. So it's very important for us to draw nearer to him so that we can hear him. And what God's having me do is to be still so that I can hear him more. And
wow, man, that segue into what I'm going to end with here, because a couple of days ago, I was in my time of prayer, and I was preparing to do the Issachar Power Hour that I do with Joseph DeMotte, my buddy, prophet, apostle. He's pretty much a full package.
a jack of all trades.
Yeah, he really is, man. He's such a good brother. But I was preparing for that, and I started thinking. This thought came to me, and I started thinking about our race of people, the Black community, Black America, and I start sensing that there's an attack that the devil really wants to destroy the Black community. And so what I begin to do, Sharon, I begin to search the database of House of Destiny, looking for a word, because I distinctly remember God speaking through Kim about Black America and Black Americans, And I started searching that. But then I got a text from a prophet. His name is Robin Bullock. I have a relationship with him. He texts me. And this is what he texted me. He said, "Hey, Charlie, I just called, or I just caught part of your podcast there. And maybe you already said this, but Elon's name does begin with an E." So what he's talking about is the broadcast that I did for House of Destiny last Tuesday. And I was talking about what is the big E, okay? And so I'm not going to go into all of that. So, and then he said, "I said yesterday on the 11th hour that there is great wealth about to come out of Africa or from Africa, and it has something to do with a tree." Well, Elon's name, his first name, Elon, comes from the Hebrew masculine word oak tree. Okay? It comes from, so his name means oak tree. Robin was picking up that this wealth is coming from a tree. Well, my message for House of Destiny was talking about the transference of wealth, that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Right. And I found several words that God spoke through the prophet about the oak tree and about how it's going to bring wealth, and how this big E, that this source is going to come forth. Okay. And then so I was sitting there and I said, yeah. And I texted him back and I said, yeah, I'm sitting here praying and studying this because I'm looking for a word. And then this is what God said to me. God said this to me. He said, and I got to find it here. He said, "Charlie, I don't want you to search out that word. I want to speak through you now." That's awesome. What he said. He said, "I want to speak through you now." And this was on December 7th. December 7th, when all of this happened, okay, was last Wednesday. And this is what the Lord said. And I want everyone to receive it. It's just not for Black Americans. You won't hear me say African American. I just won't say it, and God knows that, okay? I won't say it, okay? And there's a reason why. But this is what the Lord said. I feel within my spirit on this day that the Spirit of the Lord is saying, my people, Black people, my people of African descent have been targeted for a massive takeover. That is exactly right. Did you know that that the abortion that took place from the time they started that garbage in this country until it was ended, that they killed more Black babies than any other race in this country. And the woman that wanted this and started this whole thing felt like Black people were inferior, that we need to get rid of the inferior race. This is what the Lord was saying through me on this day. He said, my people, black people, my people of African descent have been targeted for a massive takeover, a plan for them to be removed, check this out, from my presence. You see, because so many black people are still supporting the platform that wants to kill us, kill you, kill your children, kill the future. This is what these wicked people, they are still trying to do it. So God was speaking through and to me on this day. But I shall step in and I will prevent this from happening. For I still hear, and I am still hearing, the prayers of the ancestors of my people coming up before me as a sweet aroma. There shall be a move of my spirit throughout the black communities, black churches, and urban neighborhoods that shall get the attention of the media, the Lord says, social media. And there will be a shout of praise that shall ring out throughout this land, and joy shall not only be heard and felt, but it shall be transferable. Because the media and all that shall be attentive shall begin to feel and receive this unspeakable joy that shall transform their minds and hearts, and the harvest of the world shall surely begin to take place. The eyes of my people shall become enlightened, and their minds shall be renewed, and sight shall come to the blind, sound shall be heard by the deaf, and my word shall come forth from the mute. Life shall conquer death, and it shall be days of refreshing that shall take place throughout America. This is my word and my promise to you, my people, says the Lord. Get ready and know this. God is wanting to speak through you, just like she said. God is wanting to come upon you and to begin to show you his goodness, and to begin to reveal the mysteries of God, the things that have been hidden. He said these things are now to be seen. Yeah. So this is the time, everyone. Yep. Okay? So absolutely. Anyway, we've gone pretty long. Like I said, I knew we would go pretty long for this first time back. But hey, guys, we want you guys to share this. Really, we want you guys to share this. I want you to continue to pray for this precious woman. This precious woman of God. I tell you, this is one strong woman. I knew the day that I met her, and I went to church that next day. This was several years back.
Oh, it's way back then.
7 years back, we were in high school, and I said,
I was an embryo, baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But anyway, I said that, thank you, Lord, for giving me my wife. I knew then that she was going to be my wife. So anyway, anything else you want to say before we signed up?
No, I think we kind of covered everything. I just really want everybody to seek the Lord and what the Lord has for you. What he may have for me, like I said, is for me, but he may have something different for you. But this is a time for us to be prepared, get our swords, our everything, our shield ready for a battle. It's something that's going to happen. We can't stop it. It's going to happen.
It needs to happen.
But we will prevail.
Yeah, it needs to happen. And I want you guys to check out the Glenn Beck video. He had a dream about 10 years ago.
Yes, it's very powerful.
And it's very powerful. And I was going to share it here, but I decided not to. Just go check it out because it dovetails in with everything that she saw. She saw this evil that has a plan to kill, steal, and destroy. So, hey, look, guys, we love you guys. We love you very much. We want you guys to have a very Merry Christmas. Yes. But before we sign off, this is what we want to do. We want to show you something. And we want you guys, information is in the description. My grandkids wanted to do a Christmas song. Yeah. And so they wanted the hip hop and the gritty style hip hop vibe that's very popular with the young kids today. And so here's a preview of this beautiful song that they did. And you're going to hear a little Aurora. You're going to hear a little Aurora Lynn. She's singing, and I use no pitch correction.
And that's our only little grandbaby girl, born on my birthday.
Right.
Yay.
It's so amazing. Guys, I want you guys to check this out.
And she's only 4.
She's 4 years old.
Only 4.
Wow, this is beautiful. Check it out.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. infant name. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
You guys, you can pick this up. It's on iTunes. You can stream it. It's on every streaming platform. Just go check it out. They did a fantastic job, okay?
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right, guys. Hey, we love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. We're back, and we're going to be coming strong with not only God's word, but we just want to bless the households of God and the households of different people around this country, because we know that God is about family, and
Yep.
family is so important.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah,
All right, guys.
absolutely. Be blessed.
Be blessed. See ya.
You are God, my peace, Lord, my joy.